earlier asked
Uh-huh.
Shaun about what kind of qualities for an
Yes.
HR person, but
Yes.
didn't get to answer that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, definitely, to have an interest in people is important. Uh, I think in HR, if you are not willing to seek to understand people's motivations and their motives and their intentions, it's going to be very difficult. Because to me, emotional intelligence, especially empathy, in this role is important. You also must be able to check your own emotions,
Mm-hmm.
uh, so that when somebody comes in, because you do have people coming in angry, some people coming in really sad, some people coming up with complaints, some people being impatient. Those sorts of things you have to manage. And if you do not have if you do not have the constitution of patience, and trying to understand, seeking to understand people first is important, I guess. That's one. If you don't like to have to deal with people directly, then that doesn't mean you can't work for HR, because we do have admin roles, which are like dealing with payroll, dealing with policies, and some really tedious administration type of work, that analysis. Yeah. At the moment, HR analytics is like the thing to be in HR. Yeah. So those kind of analytical roles where you don't have to sit down with people, where you don't have to face people, we also have those kinds of roles. But it would be nice, for you to be wanting to
People
like
oriented.
working with people if you're in HR. Because what I tend to do in my team is I get my team to actually go out and engage with everybody. We do have a lot of staff engagement.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
How does one start a career as an HR person? For example, where's the starting point? You know,
Okay. The starting point can be anywhere really. You know, if you're as a graduate, you can start as an HR officer, and you can choose. Normally, the easiest way to get into HR is either through being a trainer, yeah, learning and
a
development,
trainer. Wow.
or you can go straight into what I would call recruitment, where you can learn to be an interviewer. Yeah. So those two are normally the easiest path to go in, because they're pretty generalist role. I mean, at that level.
I
Yeah.
thought recruitment is very difficult.
Not
Interviewing.
really. Not really.
You have
If you
to.
think about it, recruitment is about getting people in, right?
Yes.
So, it's about the job, advertising the job, getting in applications, screening applications, and then shortlisting people for interview, and then conducting the interview, and then making an offer or making a reject letter.
Right, right.
Yeah.
There's this lady, Hariza, is asking, if I don't have a qualification in HR, would I still be considered by yourself? If I apply for an HR department.
To me, to have an HR, if you are into a specialist HR role, then yes, a qualification is important. Yeah. But if you go into if you are in a generalist role, like I said earlier, like learning, like training and recruitment, I don't really think you need to have a degree in HR specifically. Like my my own degree was management studies, and that was pretty much a general degree. Yeah. If you have a degree in finance, and if you're interested to be in HR, I wouldn't see that as a problem. To me, is as you come in as a graduate, you're pretty much an open book. All these things can be learned.
I've got a very interesting question here,
Yes.
an advice question. This, this lady, Shahida,
Hi,
asked,
Saida.
yeah, she said that, it's a trend that Bruneian job hops. What advice do you have for other HR people to keep people loyal? I'm paraphrasing here, but that's pretty much what she's asking.
Okay. In our organization, there are two types, of recruitment that well, two or three types. Sometimes we look for people when we bring them in, we want to take them on a permanent basis. Sometimes we actually take them in on a contractual basis, short-term contract, 2 years or 1 year, what have you. So it depends on the needs of the business. I do understand with the millennials now, I think they do want to have a lot more freedom. And I think that is the trend. And organizations are very aware of that. Yeah. So, there are positions that cater to that kind of need. But we also do know that a lot of people prefer a permanent position, don't they? Especially right now. Um, when we
Especially
do
right now, yes.
interviews, when we do interviews,
Uh-huh.
we do look out for this kind of people. Um, Normally, my recruitment team, they would ask, why do you want to join BIBD?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you want to use this as a stepping stone? To move to other roles in other organization, or do you really want to work with BIBD?
But
Because
people would say what you like to hear in order to get a job, wouldn't they?
of course, but then we also have our probationary period. Yeah, so so people can pretend. You're right, because sometimes people during the interviews, they can do the interviews really well,
Mm-hmm.
but then when it comes to the job, sometimes we find out that they're not really fit for the role. And it's almost always, it's not the technical capability, it's almost always the personal fit that's more important to us. You may fit the role technically. We can see that you're competent to be able to do the role
Mm-hmm.
technically, but if you do not fit the kind of values that we have in the organization, like teamwork, or you don't have passion for your role, then that's something that we would notice.
Habibah, one of the things that university or schools don't teach is likability. How
Yes.
important is likability in any organization? If people don't like you, no matter how smart you are, you're not going to go far, are you?
If you're not likable, then there is something, there is a concern. If you're not a likable person, how do people come to you to share ideas? you know how do people come to you to ask for advice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not about being popular. Being popular and being likable is different. Yeah.
Two different things.
Yeah, there are different things. You can be approachable, but you don't have to be very, very popular. Yeah, because introverts are not very popular. Normally they would rather be they like their private space, but that doesn't mean that they can't work as a team. Yeah. So I think it's more about, people are not likable, I guess, when they don't share. In a team, sharing information, sharing your concerns, sharing your ideas, are very, very important.
So
So
there's no role for being selfish.
no, in an organization, you can't act like you're an island, right?
But that's what we train, since young, to be the best student, to score the highest, number one.
Well, is now going. I think in the participants are in their early 20s. They understand that teamwork is important, and that
Right.
they have to connect. Interpersonal skills, good interpersonal skills, being able to have conversations with your team, um, is the way. If you want to move up in your career ladder, if you can't even talk to anybody, if people can't talk to you, how do you expect to be promoted?